Good morning. This morning I have the great pleasure of talking to an old friend of mine, Connie Antoniou, and we're going to ask her lots of interesting things because Connie has been selling very interesting properties for a long time. Connie, would you tell about what you're doing right now, where you are and what you're doing right now?
Okay. Thank you so much for having me come here, Deb. This is fun. I'm Connie Antoniou. I started out on June 12th, 1985 in Hinsdale, Illinois. I worked at Adams & Myers, which was the number one office in Hinsdale. I was there for 10 years. And then I was at Brush Hill Realtors in Hinsdale for 12 years. I specialized at that time, working with a lot of entrepreneurs, and then I started working with a lot of the Blackhawks. And that was really, really fun. They were my favorite clients, and I started my concierge level of service at that time. I would get them all of their utilities, including their home phone numbers. At that time, everybody had a home phone number, and I would ask the guys, well, what's your Jersey number going to be here in Chicago? And they would tell me, well, 92. So I would get them their home phone numbers with their Jersey number in the numbers. So that was fun. And then my family moved to North Barrington, Illinois in 2003. My husband at the time, he was working primarily in Lake Geneva, and he wanted to be closer to work. So I had to kind of reinvent myself, and I continued to work in Hinsdale. And then on June of 2007, I purchased Windstone Realty, the building and the business, and I opened a luxury real estate office. I bought a Sotheby's franchise, and about a minute later, the market crashed, and so that was rather challenging. My first sale was a $2.9 million house in Windstone, which is a gated golf course community where I specialize, actually. And 9 months later, I was lost in a trailer park in Wakanda trying to find my way out of the trailer park to go list a 3-bedroom, 1.5-bath ranch with a chicken coop. And this is before chicken coops were a thing, okay? And I needed that listing to keep my lights on. So it was a little bit of a challenging time for me. I went through a divorce. I was struggling to keep my doors open. It was really, really hard. But what doesn't kill you make you stronger. And so then I actually opened a second office. And then in 2015, I merged my offices with Jameson Sotheby's International Realty. So fast forward it to today, I have a very small team. And it's comprised of my director of operations, Katrina Masharava, and she's licensed, so she does sell as well. My son Antoniou is on my team. He was on his own for a while. I wanted him to learn what it's really like out there in the street, and now he's on my team. Cheryl Prosperi, she's a buyer's agent on my team and doing a great job as well. And Jacqueline Sanfilippo is also on my team. She lives in the city, but she's also working out in the Barrington area where she has deep roots. So we have a very small, fun little team. We work hard, we play hard.
I have 2 questions for you, but the first one is an old one, and you'll probably understand and no one else would. Do you remember the Santa Fe Speedway?
Of course.
Is the song going through your head now?
Yes.
Only one Speedway?
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, because you were there when Burr Ridge was just the Santa Fe Speedway, and now it's not there anymore.
That's right. That's right. I've been around a long time.
Yeah, me too.
So It's funny because one good thing about getting older, folks, is you really don't worry as much about what people think. And I've spent my entire life trying to be perfect, say the right thing, look the right way, do the right thing. But now I'm pushing 65, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to write a book. So
what's the title going to be?
Really?
Yeah.
You can't make this S
just
that T up. That's going to be the name of my book.
I think that would be a great title.
And last year, it was my 30th anniversary, and somebody on LinkedIn said, "Oh, congratulations, Connie! You've been in the business 38 years." And I said, "Yeah, I'm going to write a book." And I had 2 former clients reach out to me, and they said, "Are we cool?" I said, "Don't worry, I'll change the names."
I like that. You have been in business a long time. What made you decide, other than the fact that you were in Hinsdale, which for people who might not know up here, was probably the Oak Brook was maybe a little fancier, but for a long time, Hinsdale was the spot. So you were there. I remember both of those companies. They were both really fine companies.
They were.
What made you decide to stay with luxury property?
Well, I'll tell you that I started in with Adams and Myers. Merrill Adams was the Duchess of DuPage County. You probably remember her. She taught me everything I know. Okay, and she was amazing, and she had a real knack for putting people and properties together. And I watched her, and I learned. And so when somebody's talking to me about what they're looking for, my mind's racing, and I'm thinking, what do I know that's either on the market or off the market? What's going to work for this client? And because of the fact, I think that I was around a certain milieu of people in Hinsdale, I kind of moved up the food chain quickly. As you move up the food chain in price, you have to become a lot more savvy, and it's not easy because typically, those buyers or sellers, when they say jump, you better be prepared to say how high, and be okay with that. And some brokers are not good with that. They don't want to have to jump when somebody says how high. And probably because truly I do have a servant's heart. I really want to serve and do a great job for my client and please them. It worked out great for me. And so I kind of specialized in the luxury market after I was in the business for just a few years. And I think it's fun. I specialize in challenging properties and challenging clients. So
what would a challenging property be? Give me an idea.
Challenging property.
I understand. I know what challenging clients are. Tell me about what the challenging property would be.
Well, challenging property might be a property that is, maybe it's a stigmatized property. Maybe something happened there, or it was known for something. I did have a house once upon a time that a pretty well-known madam owned, and that's a story for another time off camera. But
okay,
anyhow,
I'd like to hear that. Yes.
So that was a challenging property. I've had properties where they were half finished, and maybe the owner was murdered out of the country, which was a true story a couple years back. And so naturally, when I would show it, people wanted to know what happened and this and that because they'd read about it in the papers. So I do specialize in unusual situations. And I don't know, for some reason, I find it fun. I don't know why.
Well, it's more than showing the same 3-bedroom, 2-bath house all the time. More interesting. Your family works with you now. Your son works with you. Why did you decide to build your own team? I mean, apparently you're not running the office any longer.
No, I'm not. I'm just a realtor now. I'm just a realtor. I have a very small team. I could have a much larger team, but then I'm back to practically having an office again, and I don't want to do that. I tell you, I saw this whole team thing starting about 20 years ago.
Yes.
I knew a couple gals in my office, and they were a partnership. And then I saw, a couple people kind of joining forces here or there, but it wasn't a thing. And I thought to myself, gee, I'm on call 24/7. I mean, I remember one time on Father's Day about 30 years ago, I had a swimsuit on. I had my pager, on my swimsuit, and somebody's calling me to go see a house for the 3rd time. I'm thinking, really? I mean, I'm kind of a loser. I'm kind of a loser, And I did take them and show them the house, and of course they didn't buy it, but whatever. But I thought, I kind of would like to have a life. I really would like to have a life. And I believe that one nice thing about when I did start in the business, we started when there were just books. That's all we had was the book. Every other Thursday.
I actually predate the book, Connie.
You do?
I actually do. Did you ever see the books with the beige covers?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not the books that were printed. These were the books that had...
Oh, I know. I didn't see those.
We
had the book that came out every other Thursday.
No. I go a little bit farther back from you. I'll ask Carolyn to go get one. We have one, and I'll show you what I'm talking about.
Okay.
But yeah, I remember people treated those books like they were I remember being at the Palos Pool, and there were realtors there, and I don't think I must have been a realtor by then, but I wasn't paying much attention. I wasn't quite as diligent. And there would be the women with their bathing suits, and they would be holding that book like this. Like near, because I'm not showing you what's in that book. This is this is my treasure kind of thing. I remember the books, yes.
Well, we had the next generation of book, came out every other Thursday, and we would all be in our offices like this, waiting, and we would sit around, and we would go through, Ginny sold this one, shout out to Ginny in Hinsdale. Anita sold this one flooded, they're getting a divorce, so, they can't show that right now, whatever. That was the Pony Express. That was our MLS at the time. And it was really, in a way, it was actually easier because we had all the control. And at Adams and Myers, we half the time we wouldn't even put signs in the dirt. As a matter of fact, that's where I learned to borrow a car and put my clients in the back seat down low, and I'd borrow a car and pull it to the back of a house and sneak them in the back door and get it sold before anybody even knew it was on the market. That's what we did back then. So I will tell you one thing. I learned a lot from my years in Hinsdale because that was a very fast, sophisticated market, and you had to be one step ahead of your competitors.
It's not a very big market either, actually.
It's not a very big market, but the realtors they're climbing all over each other there.
They're almost everywhere these days,
Yeah.
but they were there. But the people who were working there, what I remember about them is they were very serious about it. There weren't, maybe I'll sell a house. No, that wasn't it. Those were people who were seriously working to sell houses.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we were all in my office. Funny thing about the offices back then, the smokers were on this side of the office and the non-smokers were on this side of the office. It was actually pretty funny. So that, it was clouds of smoke half the time, and people would call, and the one gal would say, "Adams and Myers, can I help you?"
So working with your son, do you enjoy it?
Yeah, I do. So here's the deal. I'm Greek. I'm 100% Greek. So I'm pretty passionate, and I'm a pretty active person. So I have more energy than gals probably half my age, and so I move fast. So everything I do is fast, and it's hard for people to keep up with me. The other thing is I'm kind of one of these run and gun people. I see something, I feel it, I want it, and I go get it. I've learned over the years that there's probably a better way to do that, to maybe slow it down a little bit and think about things a little bit more. And I'm learning that actually from my son, because he actually is a lot like me in a lot of respects, but he has a maturity that I'm learning from. So he is saying, "Wait, Mom, I think there's probably a better way to do that. Maybe you don't need to print this out. Maybe we can just do that." So I am actually leaning in now. And it's hard for me because I'm kind of an alpha female. So I'm learning now how to kind of listen to others and lean in and follow what they're suggesting. So we have, like I said, with our team, we're all kind of finding our way here, and we're all kind of specializing in different things. And so we're having fun, and actually our clients are really benefiting from this because now each of us can have a little bit of a life. So if the weekend's coming and Katrina is taking her daughter, who's a champion tennis player, by the way, she's taking her, out of town for the weekend, the rest of us are covering for her. So if I'm playing team golf on Thursday, the others know maybe they're going to come in and, help out if something comes up.
One of the words you've used several times in those, that is what you were speaking as you learned about learning. We're all learning right now. We're all learning some new things. How is your team looking at all these changes that are coming? I'm kind of curious.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm in a pretty good position right now. I've been in the business a really, really long time. And, I've spent my career trying to do the right thing. And when I was a broker owner, I would tell my agents, always do the right thing. And you know what it is. Don't do the right thing for your pocket. Do the right thing for the client, and the rest will come. And what I believe, and a gal that I worked with, Beth Burt, in Brush Hill, shout out to Beth, great gal. She said to me one time, she said, Connie, when one door closes, another door opens. And I never forgot that. And that's actually helped me through some hard times. And I believe that right now, one door might be closing, but guess what? Another door is going to open, but it's going to open for those who are deserving. And what I mean by that is the part-timers and those who just dabble, or the people who want to put a cute outfit on and go out and show their friend a house and feel important for the day. Bye-bye. See ya. Those of us who have spent decades, our entire careers devoted to this industry, we're the ones that are going to come out on top. And I have no problem, talking about it. And what I've said to people that are asking me is, just like Gwyneth Paltrow, when she announced that she and her husband were getting divorced years ago, she called it consciously uncoupling. Well, that's what I'm telling sellers. Guess what? We are consciously uncoupling commissions.
I love that.
And this is what I charge, and this is what I suggest you charge.
Well, we're going to be careful with you. That's fine.
I can't say suggest?
I'm going to be nervous about suggest a little bit.
All right.
What I would suggest is a good word. You would suggest to them, yes. I love that kind of thing, that you're not afraid that what's going to happen and who's going to do what and all those things. Tell me, if I had to ask you, and this may put you on the spot, what's your value proposition?
My value proposition is the fact that I'm a little bit of a rebel. I've always kind of zigged where others zagged. And for instance, if a seller says to me, Connie, when do you think is a great time for me to put my house on the market? A lot of realtors will say, well, let's put it on right after the Super Bowl. That's when the spring market starts. I say, hey, why would you be a lemming like all the other houses that are coming on then? If your house is ready, let's put it on now. There's going to be less houses on the market right now. Why would we wait? If it's ready, let's put it on now. We only need one buyer. Another thing that I do is, pricing of properties. I learned many years ago. A lot of my competitors, they will price a property at, $9.99. Hello, we're not selling gas. I don't know about you guys, but I'm selling luxury real estate.
Yeah.
So I'm not scared to put it right at $1 million. Why? Because people do search by price points. They search between 800 to $1 million, okay? And then the next group of buyers, they might be searching from $1 million to $1.2 million. Well, gee, you have a better opportunity of catching both markets if you price it right on the button. We're not selling gas, guys. We're selling luxury real estate. So that's why I kind of zig where others might zag. And I also I'm not scared to defend my professional fee, and I don't call it commission. I call it my professional fee. And I know that right now a lot of us are going to be getting hammered. We're going to be getting hammered by the sellers. They've got this newfound strength, and they're going to be hammering at us. And I say to them, well, you know what? If I can't defend my professional fee, how can I defend your house?
What's in your market? Describe in the market that you're in. Describe what would be where does a luxury property start, and what would I find in that luxury property?
Well, first of all, I work primarily by referral. So I'll do stuff from, Wayne to Oak Brook to, up to Wisconsin. I'm licensed in Wisconsin as well. I'll go over on the North Shore. I'll dabble over there a little bit. But I do feel like let's say in the Barrington area, I would say probably anything above $750 is considered a luxury market there.
Okay. What would I get for $750 in Barrington?
Wow. You can get, you can get a 5 acres, maybe with a horse barn, 4-bedroom, 3-bath home. I mean, it's amazing what you can get for your money in the Barrington area. It's amazing.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. I can kind of guess why you chose luxury. Do you do anything else besides luxury?
When I left Hinsdale, when I opened my first office in 2007, my average selling price was 1.4 million in Hinsdale from all those years. Okay,
That's a long time ago. That
yeah, it was a long time ago.
high
Right
price.
now, it's like around maybe 950 or something, which is, I think, maybe one of the highest average selling prices, if not the highest average selling price in the Barrington area. I'll never be number one in volume. I don't care. I really don't care. I mean, I could load up my team with a bunch of heavy hitters, and say I'm number one. But for me, I never cared about being number one in volume. I've always kind of liked to have the highest average selling price. And so for me, I just like that market because I can relate well to it. I've been doing it for so many years. But when it comes to entry-level buyers, I do have other team members that specialize in the entry-level buyers.
Okay. I'm always surprised how many people are afraid to go in the luxury market. And one of the things that I couldn't possibly sell a luxury house. And I look at them, and disagree with me, please, if you would, and I say, here's an interesting thing. The house for $1 million and the house for $100,000, both are going to have issues. There's just no question they're going to have issues. Do you know which house is going to have a harder time dealing with those issues during the transaction? That would be the house for $100,000. There's no money to solve. Once you learn what to expect in $1 million house or an expensive house, and you have to educate yourself. You have to, the example I always use, Kohler has some very lovely bath fixtures, but in a $4 million house in Highland Park, I don't want to see them. They're not appropriate for the house. Once you kind of get the hang of what should be in there and shouldn't be in there, they're a little bit harder to sell, but they've got more once someone wants it, it's easier to get to the closing table, I think, sometimes, because they have a little bit more money to solve things. It's interesting how afraid of luxury markets so many people are. They're one way. They're too afraid to do it, or they want to be in there, and they have no idea what a luxury house looks like. Like I said, the Kohler example is one of my favorites because the people who understand what I'm talking about will go, but aren't Kohler makes very nice fixtures. They do, but they just don't belong in a $4 million house kind of thing. What are you doing for fun these days?
Well, I do enjoy playing golf. And
are you a good golfer?
I'm not as good as I'd like to be. I do okay. I do okay. I hold my own. I'm okay. I play. I'm the team captain for my club, and only because nobody else would do it. Believe me. And so we play 5 different clubs in the area every year, and that's fun because I like to go and see the other clubs, and I like to meet the ladies. I mean, I love to meet people and listen to them about what's going on in their world. So I do enjoy playing golf. I would like to get back into tennis. I did play college tennis 100 years ago, and I would like to get back into that someday. I used to play on a USTA tennis team, but I lost my serve and I got kicked off the team.
Happens to the best of us.
So I'd like to get back into that. I'm just trying to think what else I do. I've been spending a lot more time with my children, and that's been really fun. I have a daughter, Rena, who's 36, and she's staying with me right now.
She'll be delighted that you're telling her age. She'll be delighted that you're not together.
Sorry about that. Maybe we'll edit that out. My son, Anthony, he's working with me, and then my youngest, Nikki, he lives in the city, and he's getting his MBA next month from Booth. I'm real proud of all my kids. So I'm spending a lot of time with my kids, and I have the best girlfriends in the world. I mean, I call them my ride or die girls. So we have a lot of fun together, and I've actually started traveling. I had a girlfriend of mine, and she said to me, Connie, would you like to go on a Thelma and Louise road trip? And this was a couple years ago, and I said, are we going to live? And she said, yeah, we're going to drive out to Aspen and stay with my daughter and go to a 3-day music concert. So she got me my Thelma hat, and she was Louise, and we drove out to Aspen.
How fun.
We had a blast, and saw Chris Stapleton in concert and Stevie Nicks. It was fun.
Very fun.
I never did that for the last many decades. I've really worked a lot, maybe too much. And now I'm going to start to take my foot off the accelerator a little bit, let my team step in a little bit more, and start to enjoy life.
It's been so pleasant to spend the time with you. You are such an interesting soul. Connie, thank you so much for being with us today.
More than welcome. This was really fun. Thank you.
Just a note, the views of our guests may not reflect the views of the North Shore-Barrington Association of Realtors.